This university institute will provide you with 1,350,000 won on a monthly basis if you're applying for a master's degree, and they would offer you 1,800,000 Korean won if you're applying for a PhD. And if you succeed in graduating with either a master or PhD, you will be put towards the path of obtaining a permanent resident to stay in South Korea. And if you succeed in obtaining a recommendation letter from your professor after graduation, you might equally obtain a job as well. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Daddy Cliff channel. Today let's talk about one of the 6 university institutes that I mentioned in the video that I talked about how to obtain a permanent resident in South Korea. If you've not yet watched that video, you might want to click the link up there to watch the video. This is one of the important university institute in South Korea that South Korean government cherished very well, which is why the university has many campuses that are located in different parts of South Korea. For example, if you want to do something that has to do with oceanography, they have a campus in Busan, because Busan is a touristic city in South Korea, and that is where you have one of the oceans in South Korea, which means you would be studying and you will equally be doing a practical, so that you would get to learn and equally do what you're learning by seeing the ocean and then carrying out practicals in oceanography. I'll tell you the name of this university institute at the end of the video, but first let's look at the different applications and the scholarship benefits that are available in this scholarship. It is important to note that you will be applying to come and study in South Korea in March 2024. That is the spring semester, and there are 4 types of application. You have the non-Korean, you have the Koreans living overseas, you have the KOICA scholarship, and you have the RCA degree programs. We will look at the different types of scholarship as we progress in this video. For the timeline, it is important to note that online application is scheduled to begin from the 12th of October and will end on the 1st of November 2023. Sending of supplementary document will be from the 10th of November right up to the 14th of November. That is in case, for example, if you applied without providing an English proficiency test, they would give you between the 10th of November to the 14th of November to provide a document proving that you have sufficient knowledge of English language. And then they would announce successful candidates from the 27th of November. And then interview will begin from the 4th of December right up to the 11th of December. The next thing is they would have to announce successful candidates from the 22nd of December. And then you will begin registration. You can go ahead and read the other timelines. There are 4 types of application. The first one is the non-Korean citizenship application. You would have these different schools. Kopri, they have polar science. It is important to note that here, if you're applying for PhD, if you see a circle, know that they have it for PhD. This is integrated, which means you can do a PhD or a master's. Here you can do an integrated program, which is a PhD and a master's, but here you cannot do a master's. Simply put, if you are applying for polar science, it is possible for you to study just a PhD if you want to apply for PhD, or you can do integrated, which means you can do a master's and then transition to your PhD, but you cannot apply to just come and do a master's. It is very important that you know the application process. And then if you are applying to do KIT, which is Korea Institute of, you can do a major which is human and environmental toxicology. You can apply to either do a PhD or a master's, or you can apply to do both, which is the integrated. You can go ahead and look at the different majors that are available for application. The second type of application is the Koreans living overseas. Here they can apply to study at Korea Institute of Civil Engineering and Building Technology. Here are the majors. If you see a circle, it means it's available for PhD. If you see a circle, it means it is available for Master of Science. And if you see a circle at Inter, it means it is available from both PhD and Masters. You can also go ahead and look the different majors that are available. The third type of application is the KOICA scholarship. It is important to know that KOICA is a South Korean agency. KOICA is Korea International Agency Corporation, which is a corporation that has offices in different countries around the world, basically in the dark countries of ODA, which means you must make sure your country is a member of the dark member countries of ODA. You can only apply for this scholarship if your country is a dark member of ODA. Down you would find the different institutes and the majors that are available. You can apply for PhD, integrated master or PhD, or apply simply for a master's. Know that if you're applying to get a KOICA scholarship, you can only apply to go and do chemical engineering or advanced material at the School of Korea Institute of Chemical Technology. The fourth type of scholarship is the RAC degree program, and it is available for those who want to study at Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute, either to do a radiation science, and you would find the degree programs here either for a PhD, integrated PhD, or master's. Here they don't have this one at the master's level. And then if you go down to nuclear science and technology, radiochemistry, they have it for PhD and masters. You cannot do combined masters and PhD, which means you cannot do a masters and then transition to a PhD. It's either you're applying to do a master or applying to do a PhD. So you can go ahead and look at the different schools and the majors. Also, it is important to note that when applying for RCA degree program, you should come from one of the listed countries down here, from Bangladesh right down to Vietnam. Make sure your country is among the list of countries that are here, right down to Thailand and Vietnam. Now for scholarships, it is important to note that there are two options. The first one is that if you're applying for a master's degree, you would either receive 1,350,000 won, and then they would pay your tuition fee. And then if you're applying for a PhD, you receive 1,800,000 won on a monthly base, and then they would equally pay your tuition fee. But if you do not succeed in getting that first option, they might put you in another option, which will be you'd receive a monthly allowance of 1,350,000 won, but you would be required to pay a tuition fee which is 2,500,000 Korean won. And then if you are applying to do a PhD, you would equally receive a monthly allowance of 1,800,000 won, but you would equally be required to pay a tuition fee of 2,500,000 Korean won on a semester basis. Semesters in South Korea are 2, which means in a year you'd have 2 semesters, and then you would be required to pay 5 million won if you are doing either a master or PhD for the 2 semesters. Basically, if you combine the total amount of money that you will receive on a monthly basis, you're way above 10 million won for a master's and way above 15 million won for a PhD. Removing 5 million won to pay your tuition fee for a year, I think it's something that is reasonable. So do not be discouraged by the tuition fee and the amount of money that you're receiving for a monthly allowance. And also, it is important to note that the monthly allowance that this university is offering is way higher than the monthly allowance that is offered by other universities or scholarships in South Korea. For example, even the South Korean government scholarship will offer you 1 million won on a monthly basis, and then you would be required to pay your house rent and other utility bills from the 1 million won, and also take care of your basic needs in the month. So if you compare it, I think it's okay with the monthly allowance that is offered by this university, and if you are required to pay tuition fee. Now for the online application, like I said, there are 4 types of admission. The first one is the non-Korean citizen, and then they have the KOICA scholarship admission, you have the overseas Korean, and you have the RCA degree program. It is very important to note that when applying for this scholarship, you make sure you decide on the type of scholarship that you're applying for, if it's the non-Korean citizen or the KOICA scholarship or the RCA degree program. For overseas Korean, that's Koreans who are living out of Korea and they want to study in this university, then they can choose overseas Korean. This university is University of Science and Technology in Daejeon, South Korea. Like I said, this university is a university that has many campuses scattered all over South Korea, and it is a very important university institute in South Korea. They have campuses in Seoul, they have one in Gyeonggi, they have another in Busan, and in other parts of South Korea, as you can see in the map. And added to that, if you succeed in obtaining either a master or PhD from this university institute, know that you will be put towards a path of obtaining a permanent resident. And if you can obtain a letter of recommendation from one of your professors, then you will be assisted in getting a job. They would give you a visa that will enable you to stay in South Korea and obtain a job, and also go towards the path of obtaining a permanent resident, because like I said, this is a University of Science and Technology in Daejeon, South Korea, and South Korea has about 6 of them that it considers very important university institute, because South Korea is a country that is very much focused in science and technology. So they will not want to allow students who would graduate from their science and technology universities from leaving the country. They would want them to apply that knowledge in South Korea. So if you're thinking about studying in South Korea in the long run and obtaining a job, and equally obtaining a permanent resident, and if possible a Korean citizenship, you should go for one of these university institute, either the University of Science and Technology in Daejeon, this one, or University of Science and Technology in Ulsan, or KAIST Institute, or maybe Gwangju Institute of Science and Technology. That being said, guys, this is going to be the end of the video. If you know you've not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscription button, and if you are a returning subscriber, make sure you hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.